What's going on, everyone? My name is Matt. Welcome back to a very special and very somber Three and Out podcast tonight. Now, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. This is unscripted, unedited. I'm very disappointed. I'm a huge soccer fan. I love the United States soccer team, and they failed to qualify for the 2018 FIFA World Cup tonight, losing 2-1 to Trinidad and Tobago. It's a true embarrassment and all-time low for this United States soccer team. The federation, I'm just going to give you some thoughts. Honestly, really, this is more of me wanting to just rant so I can get this off my chest. I can go to sleep tonight and breathe easier, because if I kept this in, it would just ruin my mood for the next few days, and I don't need that. So, again, they failed to qualify for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Now, if you don't know much about the CONCACAF, which is the region that we're in, the qualification process, it's a long, drawn-out process where there's a lot of byes that the United States gets, but eventually it gets knocked down to what's called the hexagonal, or the hex for short, where you have the top 6 teams in the region fight it out in a round-robin. You play everyone twice, home and away. The top 4 teams essentially make the World Cup. Now, your 4th place team goes into a playoff. They're going to play Australia, which, if it was someone like the United States, definitely would have won and gone on. But they failed to finish in the top 4 in our region. Like, that is mind-blowing. The teams that are ahead of us. Now, Mexico, I understand that. Costa Rica, I can understand that too. They have a very talented team. But Honduras and Panama team, which you just beat 4-0 at home Friday night. You couldn't even go into Trinidad, a team that's only won 1 game in this hex. You couldn't even go in there and draw. You didn't even need to win the game. If you just drew, you would have been on to the World Cup. They couldn't even do that. Now, I don't want to hear this whole, it's hard to go into these countries and play with the lack of atmosphere. Bull crap. Teams in Europe do this all the time. I don't want to hear the excuses anymore. There should be no more excuses. The United States should never fail to qualify for a World Cup. The talent pool that we have, and yes, I don't even want to hear that the soccer is not that important in the United States. Do you want to know, outside of Brazil, the last World Cup in Brazil, do you want to know, outside of Brazil, the fan base that had bought the most tickets and had the most people in that country during that World Cup? The United States of America. People care. We have a talent pool that has no depth. We put so much money into it. And now you're telling me I have to wait 5 years before this team can even think about being in the next World Cup? I have to wait till 2022? It is an absolute joke, a mockery. There needs to be wholesale changes. Yes, Sono Galati and Bruce Arena need to be cut tomorrow. If they're not fired by tomorrow, I'll be disappointed. I understand you probably have to do some legal stuff, but if they're not fired soon, I will be livid. You know, I feel terrible for Christian Pulisic. That kid went and gave his heart every night. He came out today in the second half and scored a goal and gave us a shot. But no one around him would play with the intensity that he played with. How the heck, as the United States of America, do you only get 3 points on road games in the hexagonal? 3 points. How can you not even get a draw in Trinidad? This is honestly, I know I've been yelling and screaming, and I'm trying not to. This honestly is the lowest point in American soccer. I understand that it's a mockery out in the Europe and everyone, United States, we don't care. And I know to an extent that that's true, but there is no reason that this team shouldn't finish 4th. I'm not even saying win the hex. Although that should be your number 1 priority. You can't even finish 4th. The amount of money, I can't understate this. The amount of money that is poured into our federation is unreal. We're not underfunded. Some of these teams that we play in this tournament, they have part-time players. They can't even afford to pay their players to be full-time members of their squad. Now, I understand this too. The youth soccer teams, put it this way: we didn't qualify for the last two Olympics. So guess what? Those kids that are going up through the system are knocking on the door to become the United States national team members. We can't even trust them. We had to play our old guard. We had Timmy Howard, Brad Guzan, Michael Bradley, Clint Dempsey. Those were our stars. These guys wouldn't even be playing in most countries because they're just too old. They're talented. Deuce is one of my favorite players. Clint Dempsey is one of my favorite players. But they couldn't get it done. They were worn down. They were a tired team. No passion. There needs to be wholesale changes in the United States for soccer. And I'm not just saying at the youth level or MLS or the United States national team. They all need to come together. Now, I think I read something about Germany 10 years ago had a really bad tournament in Euros, and their federation got with the Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2, and they got together and they were like, we're going to do this and we're going to become, they put a 10-year plan in action. What happened 10 years later? They won the World Cup. I'm not even expecting the United States to win the World Cup. I expect them to get there, though. All right, so I can go on and on about this, and I just want to summarize my rant, my thoughts. First, you need to work together as one country. We're one country, one team. From youth development all the way up to the United States national team, there needs to be a plan in place. Secondly, new coach. I don't know who that is yet. I'm sure a lot of names are going to get thrown around because there's better not be Bruce Arena in there. We have some good coaches in America, and there's some good coaches internationally that we can bring in. And I'm looking forward. That's the sad thing. I'm looking forward to new coaching. I should be looking forward to the World Cup in 290 some days. But now I have to look forward to a new coach. Sorry. They need to move on too. Sorry, Timmy Howard. You were great for us a couple years ago. You're done. Clint Dempsey, my favorite player. One of the greatest scorers, one of the greatest players the United States has ever produced. I'm sorry, you're done. Josie Altidore, if you don't put your act together, you're done. You have a star in the making in Christian Pulisic. He could be one of the world's best. But you don't want to waste his talents by setting him around a bunch of nothings. So that's where this whole comes from, the youth development comes there. They have a lot of time to prepare for it. The next World Cup is not until 2022 in Qatar. The United States of America is hosting the World Cup in 2026. Hey, at least you know you're going to qualify for that one because it's automatic. All right, I'm getting sidetracked here, but those are my thoughts. I really feel that the United States needs some wholesale changes across the board, everywhere. Everyone associated with United States soccer needs to look at themselves in the mirror tonight and just realize that they didn't get it done. So I'll be back to my regular release for the 3 and Out podcast here tomorrow. My midweek mix. Have my NFL top 10 power rankings in there. Thank you guys for listening. This is Matt. Peace.